How's it going, everybody? Nikki D coming at you live, man. Yet again. Today we're out in BC making a quick video. I'll give you guys the spin around here of the camera. I mean, look what's going on here. Look at this. Wow. But yeah, I can't even get the top of those. There we go. But yeah, you get the idea. And then we got back here as well. So yeah, man, just making a video. We'll do it over here for now. I'm not just staring people down. So yeah, I just want to talk about Deadpool and why I wasn't really a fan of the movie. So Deadpool and Wolverine. Now I made a YouTube Shorts on it, and I said it was just kind of mediocre, but I didn't really explain more than that. There will be spoilers. I am going to spoil the movie, so you have been warned. That's it. Here we go. So yeah, man. So I want to preface this by saying a few things, because I just watch the video before you dislike, okay? So yeah, I'm a fan of the first two movies. I thought the second one was good, but maybe not as good as the first. But the first was excellent. I actually loved it, and I've rewatched it a couple times. It's that good. I'm very happy to rewatch Deadpool 1. Yeah, Deadpool 2 I thought was pretty good. I had no real complaints with it. I didn't like it as much as the first, but I liked it. I thought it was still pretty excellent. I'm a Marvel fan. Not all the recent Marvel movies I've been a fan of, as you can probably tell by my YouTube history. I think, like, I saw the Eternals. It was abysmally bad. You know, just, we don't need to talk about it. So yeah, newest Deadpool, man. It was good on a one watch, and I wouldn't watch it ever again. It had no replayability for me. And so again, I'll break it down where I'm at. But I know, like, people, there was criticism, because I kind of saw a few people online, not very many honestly, that had the same opinion. But I will say, before I like bring up points and whatever, regardless of my thought process, it still killed it in the box office, and I feel like it's still deserved. Yeah, it's done quite well. There's no, like, I'm not going to disagree with that at all. The movie's done very well for itself, and it makes sense, right? There was a lot of hype up around it, and you honestly have really good actors giving it a go. So there are things with the movie I actually genuinely like, but there's just so many things that I just wasn't really that much of a fan of. And I found like it didn't necessarily make the movie bad, it just made it like mediocre to me. I don't know if you guys can catch it, by the way, in the microphone, but there's a seaplane taking off like little ways away, and it's really loud, so if you can hear that, I apologize. So yeah, I thought the plot was just kind of not, maybe it's just me again here, but I'm not crazy about the multiverse stuff. You know, I know they did it for Spider-Man, and like, it's like, okay. But honestly, I wish it was just kind of a one and done. Like, they closed it up and they were like, let's not never do that again. Because they're just kind of constantly, you know, nostalgia bait you, which is unfortunate. A lot of the critics, that's actually what they were thinking about No Way Home, was it was a lot of nostalgia, and they were like, it kind of got in the way of the movie. Yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But in this one in particular, like, it's just like cameos after cameos, right? And don't get me wrong, I like the cameos. I'm happy to have cameos, but it's not enough to keep me like interested in a movie, to show somebody and be like, oh, it's Blade, and you're like, oh, okay, like, that's awesome, right? Love Blade, but it's just not, you know, it didn't make the movie like fantastic to me. The antagonist in the movie, I didn't really care for. You know, it just, again, it seems to just be one of these plots of like, I'm evil because I'm evil. I don't know, like, I didn't really buy her reasoning. Like, I know it's like, it's a comparison here, but like, to put Thanos in the same equation, like, you know, Thanos you could kind of get behind, right? They built him up, and they even gave him a movie. Like, I say Infinity War was for Thanos, right? It was to learn about him and get behind his character, right? And understand his motives. Where, like, you know, you get these one and done villains that are just like, yeah, I want to take everybody out. And I guess you could also say the antagonist technically was the TVA, which you don't need to watch Loki to get it. Like, you can watch the movie and understand what the TVA is. But I have watched Loki as well. But I thought they did quite good saying what it was. I don't know. I'm a little, like, perplexed. Like, even in the beginning scene, like, Deadpool's killing like 20 of them, like, with no effort. And Loki couldn't beat any of them in the beginning when he first got there. I know the argument's like he just got out of New York and he was bested. But, I mean, that's still a god of Asgard. I'm a little, I don't know. Like, Deadpool's got powers for sure, but, I mean, he's just like using a sword and cutting their head off. I mean, it's pretty easy. Yeah, so I mean, the main gripe, I mean, I got to be honest, is like, honestly, it's just the dialogue. I get it's a Deadpool movie. There's going to be some coarse language. That makes sense. I understand that's going to come. Again, I've seen the first two and liked them. But I found this movie, like, especially for Logan, just equated to just dropping the F-bombs, where, like, it wasn't, like, actual, like, realistic dialogue that would make sense. Like, it was just constant swearing, which, you know, I think this movie just went more over the top on comedy rather than, like, let's just have, like, a story to follow with the comedy. And I think, like, they kind of did that, but it was so loose that it just took me out of the movie. Like, you know, I just didn't care for it at the end of it, like, what was going on and what was at stake. You know, I like Logan, but it's hard to relate to a Logan that isn't our Logan, if you think about it that way. You know, he's got the yellow suit, which is really awesome. I mean, I can't argue that. But it's just like, again, that's not our Logan. That's not the Logan we knew from all the movies, right, that made sense. And I know X-Men movies have jumped around a lot, but again, it's just, it's hard to get behind the character when you're like, all right, I can't relate to his struggles. I still think Hugh Jackman did really well in the role, obviously, but you know, I don't know, man. I just wasn't feeling it. I just wanted a serious moment or two. The only serious moment I think really in the movie for me was at the bonfire where Logan's talking to X-23, talking to Laura, and he's like saying what happened, and you know, a little more of that would have been okay. You know, I know it's not supposed to necessarily be a super serious movie, but you know, you can sprinkle those moments in there to give it that feel, right? And I don't think that would have been bad. But yeah, my main arguments, I think, kind of in closing, is the plot. I didn't really care for it. You know, even the fight with all the other Deadpools, it's like, okay, like whatever, that's gimmicky, right? Like that's whatever. And I mean, quite literally, like 40 seconds later, they all stand back up and they're all friends, like all of a sudden. And I know there's obviously a plot device in there to make them that, but it's just like the fight had no stakes, right? There was nothing at stake. You know, I think the cameos were just there. The jokes, I didn't really laugh at much of the jokes. I laughed, I think, at two. It seemed to be a lot of Fox and meta jokes, which is fine, but I just didn't really care for them. I find, like, I don't know, Deadpool 1 I just thought was, like, more organic with the jokes. Even the pizza scene, right, where he's trying to get the pizza, I just thought that was that was pretty good, right? Like, there was just jokes that weren't way over the top, that were little, but they were good and they were clever. And I feel like it was the opposite. Like, just to preface here before we close the video, you know, like he comes in with the gun, right? Ryan Reynolds comes in with the gun, and I forget the guy that lives at the apartment just hands him the wallet, and he just goes, thanks. Like, he didn't even ask for it, right? And he just took it. And it's just funny stuff like that. Like, that's very little, but, or, you know, he's saying that he, like, took a shit in the buddy's kitty litter, and the guy's like, I don't have a cat. And you're just like, it's just funny, right? Because it's just like, okay, well, that's the humor they're going for. Where this movie, I thought it was just constant, like, yeah, just didn't, it didn't get it for me on this one. But yeah, that's kind of my closing thoughts. I'm sure people are going to disagree, but that's okay. That's what the internet's for. So, all right, thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one. Take it easy, and yeah, peace, man.